Okay, so we have a series, 1 over 4 plus e to the negative n. With this one, we want to try the divergence test, because this is something that we try in the first place anyway. The reason we do so is because it's kind of an impasse. So if you get 0, then you can move on to the next round. If you get 0, in other words, it means this could either converge or diverge. So you could go ahead and try other stuff. But what happens if it doesn't even equal 0? If it doesn't equal 0, it automatically diverges. So you want to try the divergence test and see if you could just get off all the other tests and just, it diverges if it doesn't equal 0. If it does equal 0, it could either converge or diverge. So that's something you just have to have in memory. We need for this to equal 0 in order to move on to other tests. Otherwise, it diverges. Okay, so let's take the limit. Let's take the limit. This is how you take the divergence test, is just take the limit to infinity of what we have in here. We've got 4 plus e to the negative n. What does this really mean? E to negative n is what we're looking at because that's where we're plugging in infinity. E to the negative n is the same thing as 1 over e to the n. Right, so you don't even need to know the graph of this. The graph of that looks like this. And you've got something like that. It seems to be approaching 0. It seems to be approaching 0. But you don't even need to remember that. You don't even need a graphing calculator. You don't need anything. You just have to remember that if you have something to a negative exponent, that's like having that exponent here in the denominator. So we're plugging infinity here. This is 1 e to the infinity, which is 1 over infinity, which goes to 0. So this goes to 0. This goes to 0 once we plug in our limit. So we would have 1/4 as our limit, as what this is approaching. So since that's what this is approaching, we don't have to continue anymore. We can already tell by the divergence test this diverges because we got 1/4. 1/4 when we should have gotten 0. If we had gotten 0, then we can move on to other tests and see, is it going to converge or diverge? But if we get any other number besides 0, it diverges. So that just gets you off the hook really quickly. You always want to try and see with the divergence test if it doesn't equal 0.